Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Doc Gia Season and welcome to our first episode sa podcast na ito this 2022. It's so nice to be back. Sobrang nakakamiss kayo. So, kumusta na kayo? Sana everyone is safe and healthy. So, honestly, talagang na-miss ko kayong lahat, no? And at this year, simulan natin yung discussion this afternoon by talking about hypertension or high blood. So tawagin nyo na lahat, daddy nyo, mommy nyo, lolo, lola, and actually everyone. No? We invite the whole family, workforce, and the whole barkada, office of any age. Kasi nga, this condition na pag-uusapan natin can really happen to anyone at any age. But don't be scared. Kasi that's why we have shows like this every month para lahat tayo well-informed. Lahat tayo alam ang gagawin. Alam niyo na yan. Ayaw na natin sa fake news. And hindi natin masisimulan ang usapan na ito without introducing our very special guest who is very close to our hearts. Literally talaga. Kasi he's one of Makati Med's top cardiologists and he will be here to discuss these 10 important facts about hypertension. And quick trivia lang, fun fact, he is actually also the proponent of Sneaker Fridays dito sa aming ospital kasi every Friday dapat ini-encourage na magsuot ng sneakers to walk. Siyempre, part yan ng heart health. So, before we start, remind lang na kapag may tanong kayo, lagay nyo lang sa comment section and we're inviting everyone to send in your questions and he will answer them for you. So, without further ado, let us all welcome Dr. Raul Lapitan. Hello, Doc!
Hi, Dr. Agia. Good afternoon to all. Magandang hapon po sa lahat na nanonood.
Ayan. Kumusta naman, Doc? How are you?
Okay naman, I'm good. Thanks for
How's
asking.
your heart, Doc?
Still okay. Still walking. Yeah.
Okay. So again, guys, no, if you have any questions, Dr. Raul Lapitan will be with us during lunchtime chika. So anything related sa heart, hypertension, he would love to answer it. So, to start, Doc, tanong natin, no, bago tayo pumunta sa mismong topic ng high blood or hypertension, ano ba muna itong tinatawag na blood pressure? No? At ano ang importansya ng mga numero na ito?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. No? Ang blood pressure, pag sinabi mong blood pressure, is the pressure exerted by the heart, no? Pumping away from the heart. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na systolic and diastolic. Yung systolic siya yung nasa taas, diastolic yung nasa baba. The importance of which, ang heart kasi merong pumping force. Pag pump niya, siya yung force driven by the heart para ma-expel niya yung blood papuntang buong katawan. And then yung second number, kaya mababa yan yung diastolic. That's the pressure of the heart kasi that's an active muscle. Pressure sa loob ng heart pag naka-relax siya. So, ano ba ibig sabihin ng pag naka-relax? Does it mean may pressure pa rin? Yes, kailangan pa rin merong pressure inside the heart at a relaxed state. Kaya magkakaroon ng abnormalities pag lumabas yung numbers natin beyond what it should be, tinatawag nating a normal range. Now, yes, ngayon, ang importante dito, yung blood pressure kasi kasi meron tayong sinusundan guidelines. Of course, merong American guidelines, merong European guidelines. Of course, meron din tayo, Filipino guidelines. In fact, just to give you some updates, last year, I believe last quarter of the year, na-publish na yung tinatawag naming prevalence survey. Ang tawag dito, Presyon 4. Presyon 4, meaning this is the fourth edition of the Presyon. So, kinonsider nila the whole population. Merong sampling. They were able to say, na-include about almost 3,000 populations. Well represented in different regions. Kasi kailangan i-study rin natin yung all the way from the north, no? Yung Apalit, diba, Ilocos, all the way down to the south, yung mga Basilan, kino-consider natin. And well represented sila. At nakita natin doon, no? You'll be surprised, no? Kinuha nila kasi yung 18 years old and above kasi adult population. Okay. So nakita natin na kung i-consider mo yung 3,500 na yan as the representative of the Philippine population, 37% of them are actually hypertensive. So ganun kataas. Yes. And kung titingnan mo, yung 37% na yan, kung i-round off mo, parang kung tatlo tayo, isa dun sa tatlo may hypertension. So ganun yung burden ng hypertension na binibigay sa mga Pilipino. Kaya importante malaman natin, syempre merong blood pressure, normal blood pressure. Ano ba yung abnormal blood pressure? Kasi nga natin nakikita, sila yung mga tinatawag nating at risk to develop cardiovascular disease or pagkakaroon ng sakit sa puso in the future pag hindi natin nagamot sila.
Yun, no? Importante pala yun doon. So, Doc, yung Presyon 4, recent study na ginawa ninyo yun. Just to find out yung prevalence ng hypertension sa Philippines. And how are 1 in 3? Wow, mataas yun, Doc.
So aside from prevalence, Dr. Gia, tinignan din natin yung awareness. Importante yung awareness kasi ng mga tao as far as hypertension.
Right.
Kasi believe it or not, marami talaga hindi nila alam na may alta pressure sila or hypertension.
Ayun.
Yes.
Yun yung
tinignan din natin, dun sa mga aware and unaware, ilan sa kanila yung kung ikaw ay aware na may hypertension, kahit say meron ka bang hypertension to start with, na diagnose ka ba may hypertension, or wala pa, makikita mo doon sa survey na yun, ilan sa kanila ang hindi controlled. Kasi there's this misconception na pag umiinom ng gamot, you're okay na. When in fact, hindi. But yes. Kaya may tinatawag na normal target blood pressure. Kasi pag lumabas ka doon sa target, say mataas ka sa target blood pressure, consider yourself still at risk for developing cardiovascular disease.
Okay. That's a very, very important point. Kaya nga dito sa ating number 2 fact, high blood pressure can actually go unnoticed for years without symptoms, di ba, Doc?
Yes.
So, Doc, there's another question. No? How do we measure yung tinatawag nating blood pressure and bakit importante na regularly ay ma-check ito?
Okay. Una muna, kung paano natin i-measure yung blood pressure. Alam mo, Dr. Gia, years ago, ito yung sphygmomanometer using mercury, right?
Yes.
And then for the past, say, I believe past 5-6 years, we tried to remove that mercury thing because of some toxicity. So we resorted to non-mercurial sphygmomanometer. Kaya you'll be surprised na amongst cardiologists then, we do encourage then the use of digital o kaya yung non-digital, rather a non-mercurial sphygmomanometer. Para din maintindihan din natin ng mga kababayan at easy for them to monitor their blood pressure. Meron kasing yung mga sphygmomanometer natin, we measure the upper arm, diba? Dapat properly placed siya. Properly placed. Hindi masyadong masikip, hindi masyadong maluwag. No? Making sure lang na you don't put your sphygmomanometer on top of the clothes. Maganda tanggalin natin yung damit para fit siya sa upper arm natin.
Oh, okay. Dapat nakasaan ako.
Yes. So, tulad na sinasabi ko sa mga pasyente ko, kung meron tayong, kung i-measure mo yung this one as 2 finger breadths, doon sa antecubital line na nakikita natin, dapat yung sphygmo natin hindi natatanggal. Yes. Tapos, madali naman kung digital eh. I-press mo lang yon, making sure lang na yung battery mo is bago, di ba? O kaya naka-plug para at least matanggal yung tinatawag na source of error. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh. So, madali lang naman. Ngayon, doon sa mga marunong kumuha ng blood pressure na using their stethoscope, no? Yan, madali din para sa kanila. Few advices lang while taking your blood pressure, no? Make sure you're comfortable, medyo relax ka. Maybe you give yourself mga 15-20 minutes sitting without doing anything. And if you're wearing tight clothes, no, medyo you loosen the clothes. And avoid, tulad ng nare-recommend namin, avoid natin ng coffee for about 1 to 2 hours before you measure your blood pressure. And that's the best time. That's the best time for you to take your blood pressure. Of course, making yourself na huwag masyadong gumagalaw yung sphygmomanometer para at least hindi ma-minimize natin ang error. So that's how to take your blood pressure.
So they're really, meron talagang techniques on how to get your blood pressure.
Yes.
And sabi nga ni Doc Raul is may mga conditions din.
Mhm.
Before we go further, we'd like to say hi to Thambi, Tan, and Ray Horelem, yan, mga kapamilya natin sa Service Operations Team. And again, if you have any questions sa mga viewers natin, please comment them on the comment section and Dr. Lapitan would love to answer it for you. And by the way, speaking of questions, may question tayo dito from Ray. Ang tanong niya, Doc, is high blood pressure hereditary or namamana ba ito?
Yes. Siguro, Ray, before I answer that question, ang hypertension kasi there are two kinds. No? Meron tinatawag na primary or before kasi years ago, we call this essential hypertension. O kaya yung idiopathic. Okay? And mind you, 95% ng may hypertension is because of this. Because of the primary hypertension.
True.
Now, the usual age of onset is usually late 30s to 40s, no? Meaning middle-aged. Now, there are several conditions that might give you this, we call this associated with hypertension, which we might be discussing later, yung tinatawag na risk factors. Now, going back dun sa question ni Ray, kung mayroong primary, mayroong secondary.
Yes.
Since na-mention ko kanina, 95% ng may hypertension is because of the primary or essential or idiopathic. Yung secondary, that accounts for about 5%. Yung secondary, these are extremes of age, too young and too old. Could be due to maybe congenital problem, kidneys, no? Pwede rin yun. Yung mga adrenal glands, kung meron mga tumor, no? Meron mga adrenal tumor secreting yung mga tinatawag na yung aldosterone na responsible for blood pressure. No? Structural abnormalities affecting your kidneys and blood vessels. Yan. And sinabi kong 5% kasi extremes of age. Now, in answer to the question, is this hereditary? Yes. Because you have to consider that hypertension can be transmitted via genes. The problem is yung genes kasi to start with, hindi naman nagmamanifest yan. So bakit ba late 30s or 40s? Because during that stage, during that age, doon tayo exposed sa environmental stimuli. Different factors, different stress. Lifestyle changes, no, nagbabago yan. Unhealthy diet, no, things like that.
Nako.
Yes.
Kaka-guilty.
Physical inactivity. All of those environmental conditions can make sure genes to manifest.
Right.
Kaya pag lumabas siya, doon lalabas yung hypertension mo. Kaya that's my answer to your question, Ray.
Kaya siguro, Doc, importante talaga na alamin yung family history kasi doon natin kasi makukuha yung risk factor natin for getting a certain condition like hypertension. So knowing your family history is very important. Now, Doc, you mentioned something about complications. But before we go into that, Doc, ano na ba yung latest guidelines natin pagdating sa when can we say that an individual has hypertension? Meron ba tayong numbers to watch out for?
Yes, good question, Dr. Gia. Sa guidelines kasi sa either European or American or even the guidelines coming from the Philippine Heart Association in collaboration with Philippine Society of Hypertension, you need only 2 readings on separate occasions na mataas. But personally, what I do, I usually ask for 3 readings.
3, okay.
On separate occasions. But hindi lang yun. Every time you check your blood pressure, you get 3 readings, meaning maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes apart. Because there's this factor na sa bahay kasi pag medyo kukunan mo yung blood pressure mo, parang ninenervyos ka na di ba? So there's this factor na pwedeng mataas yung first reading. So my advice is to take your blood pressure 3 times on that particular day. And then you get the reading, then you get the average. Now, yung normal blood pressure, the Philippine Heart Association, kasi kinuha natin dun sa Philippine population, they consider normal blood pressure if your blood pressure is less than 120/80.
Okay, don't forget, 120.
Yes, 120/80. Less than that, no? The 120 to 129, 120 to 129 over 81 to 85, we call that borderline hypertension.
Okay.
And beyond that, we call that hypertension na. Either stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3 for that matter. Bakit po ba hinihiwalay yan? Because it matters, it makes a lot of difference kung anong approach ang gagawin natin sa kanila. Okay?
Right.
Yes, so halimbawa, sinabi kong borderline hypertension, it doesn't mean bibigyan mo siya ng gamot. What we can do is to inject the idea of lifestyle changes. Siyempre, bago mo implement yung lifestyle changes, we as a clinician, titingnan mo ano bang lifestyle meron siya. Diba?
Yeah, So, Doc, parang you're saying that pag 130/90 consistently, pwede, no? Pwede nang pasok na siya dun sa hypertension na stage, di ba? Category. But it doesn't always mean na gamot agad. Kasi, Doc, very common, and we get a lot of individuals at a young age having blood pressure of more than 120/80. So, hindi agad ang medication. So, sabi nga ni Dr. Lapitan, it's very important to practice lifestyle changes. The food we eat is important, di ba, Doc? And yung environmental factors. Now, Doc, we have a question here from Masi Ferreros Imperial. What does it mean when your blood pressure is not consistent naman? Kasi sabi niyo, high today, tapos bukas, nag-iba. So, are you considered, when can you consider this, what is the meaning pala of that pa? From Masi.
Thank you, Masi, for that question. You see, yung blood pressure kasi natin is not static. We call that dynamic. Yes. It increases with activity. Say, if you get your blood pressure immediately after doing your exercise, or for instance, nagalit ka, no, na-stress ka, you expect your blood pressure to be high. But don't treat that blood pressure as if you're hypertensive. Okay? So again, as I've said earlier, you have to remove yourself from that situation that might give you some form of stress. And then you take your blood pressure serially. Okay? And you have to repeat your blood pressure. Now, considering you're getting low blood pressure, I would assume na based on this discussion, baka hindi ka pa hypertensive. Kasi may mga cases talaga tayo niyan, Dr. Gia, sa clinic. Na, bakit sa bahay tumaas ang BP ko, nag-170. So next question is, ano ba nangyari sa'yo on that particular time? So we have to elicit a good history based on what they're saying. Kaya you have to, kung di nila isusupply yung information, we have to ask, ikaw ba, hindi nagalit, hindi ka ba stressed? And then later on, mapapansin mo, they're going to supplement that information na baka yun ang nag-trigger ng pagtaas ng blood pressure mo. Things like that, no? Kasi sabihin niya, yes, kung sabihin niya consistently mataas ang BP, that might be the issue, no? But considering bumababa yung blood pressure niya, say below 120/90, so that gives you an idea na baka we call that outlier lang yung nakita sa bahay.
Ayun, outlier. Now, Doc, meron tayong question dito naman from Ed Diansuy. Ito, medyo guilty rin ako dito. Can our food intake immediately affect our BP? O example, Doc, mahilig sa chicharon, lechon kawali, diba, mga bulalo. Can it directly affect or ano lang siya, parang one factor amongst a lot, food intake?
Thank you, Ed, for that question. Mukhang cardiac delights yung mga example mo.
Kaya ka nakaka-guilty, Doc.
Cholesterol. You see, maybe interject ko na rin, no? Yung mga sinabi niyang food kasi meron ding cholesterol.
Correct.
You see, the problem with diet in relation to blood pressure, it's basically the salt, no? Yeah. Lalo na kung chicharon, di ba? Masarap ang chicharon pag meron konting alat. Same thing with lechon kawali, no? Or bulalo naman, you're going to dip it sa fish sauce, di ba? So it's the salt that actually can explain why all of a sudden your blood pressure can fluctuate. But mind you, eating those 3 selected foods you mentioned, actually, aside from making your blood pressure go up, slowly it will build up cholesterol, particularly bad cholesterol, in your system. Now, we don't normally appreciate it right away, no? The effect ng kinain mo in relation to cholesterol. You have to document it by doing a blood test. Yeah.
That's it. So, it's important to document, no? And madaming test na i-discuss din natin with Dr. Lapitan moving forward sa ating discussion. Now, and this actually answers the nasa number 3 na fact na tayo, Doc, no? That an unbalanced diet, too much alcohol, and of course, smoking can cause hypertension. So, we have to avoid that. So,
Yes.
Doc, we have a question from Tambi Tan naman. If you have been taking maintenance meds for BP and your blood pressure has been stabilized na, is there a possibility that you take it for a lifetime, yung medications po? So, what is your take on this po?
Another good question, Tambi. You see, ang principle kasi natin, no, namin na ginagawa, once a hypertensive is always hypertensive.
Yes.
Now, there's a small chance of removing your medicine, but 1 year of making your blood pressure normal is not enough, no?
Okay.
Yes, not enough, no? Particularly if your BP medicines, kasi ang maintenance niya, ang description niya, maintenance medicines for blood pressure.
Yes.
So I would presume more than one. Okay.
That's right.
So you don't stop particularly several medicines for blood pressure right there and there. Definitely, that's what you'll end up with problems. Ang problema kasi nito, Dr. Gia, most of these patients are actually asymptomatic. Sabihin nila, nag-110 sila, 120, and then they will stop the medicine. Wala naman ako nararamdaman. And then,
month
or 2, yes, walang nararamdaman. But take your blood pressure. You'll notice that your blood pressure is already on the high side. One thing that we should avoid, baka pag may naramdaman ka na, baka catastrophic, ayaw natin ng gano'n.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's very important, no? Parang don't wait for something to happen. Doc, curious ako. Yung pagsakit ba ng batok, lagi na lang dapat ba yan i-relate sa high blood ako? Kasi yan na yung nagiging di ba? Parang, ay shucks, masakit yung batok ko. Baka mataas yung blood pressure ko. So is there some truth into that?
Well, you see, as I've said earlier, yung sinasabi kong primary hypertension, sabi ko nga, most of them are asymptomatic. Kaya na-diagnose natin yan. Usually, accidentally, pag nagpa-check up lang, nakikita natin. So, we have to treat that. Pag bawalan nararamdaman, hindi natin gagamutin natin yan. Now, dun sa, say, assuming 80% are asymptomatic, yung 20% pero nararamdaman. And these are the group of patients na pupunta talaga sa doktor. Usually, ang hinahabol ng doktor, especially us, yung mga walang nararamdaman. Pero itong may mga hindi nararamdaman, magpupunta sa clinic yan or pupunta sa emergency room. And that includes yung mga non-specific symptoms na sinasabi natin. No? Yung mga dizziness, headache, no? Say, easy fatigue, no? Madaling mapagod na tinatawag. Bakit before, a year ago, okay naman ako. Ngayon, konting lakad lang, hinihingal na ako. No?
Yes, totoo yan.
But again, since in relation dun sa question mo, not all symptoms, since non-specific sila, you can outrightly attribute this to high blood pressure. Because may mga practices kasi, well, naririnig natin because yung tatay natin o yung kapitbahay natin, nagsasablingkol ng gamot, don't do that. Because you don't know if your blood pressure is truly high. Okay? For all you know, mababa ang BP mo, iba ang dahilan ng pagsakit ng batok mo. Maybe you have cervical problem, you have muscle spasm, you have migraine. Kasi migraine naman, it's not related with blood pressure. And then nangopya ka ng gamot, you self-medicate with medicine, especially you put it under your tongue, your blood pressure drop, you end up with problem. Ayaw natin ng gano'n. So,
totoo yan, no? Sudden drop. Tapos kasi narinig sa kapitbahay na nag-work, di ba, Doc? Madaming ganun eh. Parang sabi ni kapitbahay, ito yung ginawa niya. So, again, it's very important to get or consult your doctor. Now, Doc, before this episode today, we kind of crowdsourced questions. And there's a question from AJ, no? Ang tanong niya, at what age should we start checking up on our heart? Kasi ito ba? Kasi di ba sabi nyo, the Pression 4, you studied it from 18 years old yung mga naka-enroll doon, no? Curious lang itong ating follower sa FB. So, anong may age ba na dapat, okay, check your heart?
Yeah, okay. Of course, we usually advise early, how early, no? Especially if there's a family history, a strong family history of hypertension, and not only that, with history of heart attack or even stroke. No? The more that the parent should be kinanap para masabi sa kanilang mga siblings, sa mga kanilang mga anak, dapat mag-ingat kayo sa mga kinakain nyo and yung lifestyle. It's usually late 20s. The question is referring to age, late 20s to early 30s, no? We better start because during that time, nagtatrabaho na tayo. Ang maganda nito kasi, yung mga employees are actually developing some form of medical services. Parang general checkup ba? Which is actually nice to know. No? Maganda yun for early detection. So, yun po. Kasi during that time kasi, yung stress kasi sa study, which is actually less than 24 years of age, parang kayang-kaya pa yan no? And then later on, of course, kung merong simptomas, magpapacheck up tayo. Kung wala naman, that's still okay. Pero once you reach the age of, say, late 20s to early 30s, if I may recommend, you better start seeing doctor at least once a year. No? Para at least mag-guide tayo because of that family background. Very crucial kasi yun family background.
That's a very nice advice, Doc. Thanks for that. And we'd like to say hi to our viewers. Maraming salamat for staying with us. And please do, no? Kapag may mga tanong kayo, paki-type na lang sa comment section and we have Dr. Lapitan with us, no? To answer it. And hi to Manel Reyes Sanchez, hi to Loris, hi to Susie C. Tapos, again, from Tambitan, Doc, meron mo mga supplements that we can take that can actually help in the control of our blood pressure?
Blood pressure? Tambi, maganda yung tanong. Wala.
Wala, Doc.
Well, there are supplements na in the market that will tell you all of this, but when you try to look at the label, with no approved therapeutic claims, so parang it's really hard to explain all the claims plus with this caption na no approved therapeutic claims. But you see, personally, if you're going to take it from me, I don't have anything against mga supplements, no. But the thing is, you have to consider several things about supplements. It's also something that you take in. The drug-to-drug interaction, we don't know. It's not actually, it might be tested in short term, but unlike the medicines for blood pressure, it passed through a series of tests, years of studies, para ma-establish if this is actually good. Kasi, di ba, Giyap, yung mga medicines ngayon, you have to consider short-term and long-term outcomes. Yung short-term outcomes, yung mga surrogate measures, like for instance, sa blood pressure, uminom ka ng gamot na blood pressure, bumababa siya. Question now is, yung bang pagbaba ng blood pressure mo, in 5 years' time, you lessen the chance of stroke. You lessen the chance of developing heart attack. Those are the hard endpoints or long-term outcome. And yung mga piniprescribe po, kaya tawag natin dyan ethical drugs, piniprescribe because we believe that taking this medicine or prescribing this medicine will prevent stroke in the future. Unlike supplement, when you ask me about it, wala po akong mabibigay in terms of long-term outcomes, but of course, all claims or testimonials are there to show that it's good, but well, it's for us to take. And lastly, as far as supplement, hindi naman siya mura, di ba, Gia?
Yes, Doc.
There are supplement drugs that's even more expensive to the drugs that I used to prescribe. So we have to from there, no? Things like that.
So nothing really beats proper diet, yung lifestyle. Tapos na-mention nga dito sa comment section ni Ray, yes, stress can be contributory. So we have to, kind of balance that. And Doc, meron tayong viewer from Toronto, Canada. Hi to Mayumi. So we're hanggang Canada tayo, Doc. See, that's how far our podcast can go. Now, Doc, we have another question here sa chat box from Eleanor D. Tioco Clemente. Is eating garlic effective in reducing blood pressure? How much garlic should be taken for high blood pressure po? I think this pertains, Doc, sa alternative side naman ng alternative medicine, no? Merong may ganong pananaw. So what is your take on that?
eating garlic. I suppose Eleanor is referring to fresh garlic.
Yes po.
I have no idea. I'm so sorry. I cannot answer that. But definitely eating garlic, a fresh garlic, will keep your friends away from you for a while.
Correct, Doc. Kasi nga, di ba?
Idea how much of this garlic can you take to reduce your blood pressure. But I can tell you, if you follow the DASH dietary. DASH stands for diet against hypertension, something like that.
Yes, po. Yes, po.
It can reduce your blood pressure by as much as 8/5 millimeter mercury. If you're hypertensive,
that's significant.
Yes, if you're hypertensive. If you're non-hypertensive, you can bring it down to as high as 4/2 millimeter mercury.
And the DASH diet is actually what we advise, no? And pag nakita niyo yung DASH diet, di ba, Doc, very low sa salt yun?
Yes.
Very low siya sa salt. So yun. So again, hi to Allen Landagan Fortuna. He's watching naman from Taguig. Hello everyone. Sobrang thank you for joining us this lunchtime. Now, Doc, may tanong dito, no? What are the most common symptoms naman of yung parang high blood ka na? Ito naman we're talking about symptomatic side, no? And how do we determine if it's just a regular headache or dizziness? And is there such thing?
Mm-hmm. Well, there are medicines for headache now. Mm-hmm. There are medicines also for dizziness. Ang question kasi doon, I guess, how would you know that this headache or dizziness is related to blood pressure? Because for all you know, pag sumasakit ang ulo mo, assuming you're not hypertensive, you have a normal blood pressure, and then nag-headache ka, that headache is also a form of stress that makes your blood pressure to go up. So medyo it's really difficult. Pwede rin naman, tumaas ang BP mo, kaya sumasakit ang ulo mo. Which one actually, both ways pwede mangyari yan. Now, you can take, say for instance, as mild as paracetamol to remove the headache. But of course, in the clinics kasi, when you see blood pressure 180/100, kahit wala siyang previous blood pressure monitors, I would tell this patient that he or she has hypertension. Masusupplement na lang yan when you do tests like ECG, and makita ko na merong sign na tinatawag na LVH or left ventricular hypertrophy. That might give me an indirect idea that this patient could be having hypertension already. Assuming that first time siya nag-headache. No? But again, very important kasi yung taking a good history. When you start digging up the nature of a headache, you go back years ago. Hindi ba nauulit yan, things like that. For all you know, nag-hypertension na talaga siya. But if this is, say, for instance, 140, 150 over 90 or over 80, I would rather advise take the medicine for headache, then observe natin. And then you'll be surprised kung normotensive naman sila at nawala yung headache, bababa yung blood pressure nila.
That's true. So, talagang emphasis on regular BP checkups, walang mawawala. It's actually it should be part of our lifestyle na, di ba, Doc? Yung talagang checking on our blood pressure. Actually, kasi, Doc, ito naman we have a question. What happens?
If I may add, kasi may nakita nose bleeding. Yes. Yung nose bleeding, you have to see a doctor.
Definitely,
nose bleeding. No? Sometimes there are patients kasi, alam mo yung nagkakaroon, Dr. Aguian, ng subconjunctival hemorrhage.
Yes, Doc.
Yung ng mata natin, nagkakaroon ng blood. So usually, those are the situations na pumupunta sila sa doctor and then madadiagnose sila if there's really hypertension or no hypertension at all. Same thing with headaches and dizziness. So things like those really pushes somebody to go to a hospital or to a clinic para at least malaman kung may hypertension talaga sila or hindi. Pero kung may hypertension sila, it might be related, no? Especially kung poorly controlled ang BP. Yes, go ahead.
Because, Doc, this is gonna boil down to our next fact. Because what happens when you leave your blood pressure too high? Kasi merong iba na pabayaan na lang, bababa lang yan. So what happens kapag pinabayaan na mataas ang BP?
Uncontrolled or untreated, even unrecognized hypertension. Initially, tulad na nasabi ko, wala nararamdaman sila. But this is the time at yung window of opportunity of that particular blood pressure to pose some problems sa pasyente. Example, lalo na pag ang diastolic pressure nila tumataas kasi it's a measure, it's an independent predictor of heart enlargement. So wala siyang nararamdaman, and then later on, pag ini-ECG mo, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago kasi it's a form of adaptation. The heart starts to adapt to a situation na it has to pump harder. Number 2, minsan yung sa urine, chine-check, kaya routine examination yung urine. It might be so simple and routine, but looking at the presence or absence of albumin or protein, that might give you an idea that patient might be having already a kidney problem. Kaya minsan nire-refer din natin sa ophthalmologist, pinasisilip natin yung retina niya for the presence or absence of what we call vascular hypertensive retinopathy. So those are conditions na wala silang nararamdaman at the moment. Ngayon, that's true. May mga pasyente tayo na bata pa nga, dadating sa emergency room, nag-stroke. And pag bata kasi usually bleed. Yung relatively older, usually they develop thromboischemic infarct. And then, that's the time na work up natin, assuming hindi nila alam na may hypertension sila. Kasi nga, or alam nila, pero hindi sila naggagamot. Pag tinignan mo yung laboratories nila, mataas na yung chemistries. Like for instance, ang creatinine, which is actually a measure of your kidney function. In ECG mo, may sign of heart enlargement. You did a 2D echo na document na meron siyang heart enlargement. Things like those. Yun ang mga komplikasyon na mangyayari pag pinabayaan mo ang blood pressure mo, untreated, uncontrolled, or even unrecognized, unattended rather. So you end up with problems. Because sa stroke kasi, di ba? Sa stroke kasi, hypertension talaga yung independent predictor. Yung sa heart, sa heart naman, hypertension, isa lang yan. It's a multifactorial. You have to consider other factors then. Yes. Kaya it's a factor for heart attack.
Yeah. And ito answers one of our facts to this afternoon, Doc, that high blood pressure can actually increase the risk of getting a heart attack or stroke, no? Kasi, Doc, ito, di ba, kanina parang napag-usapan natin to. Can you tell us more about those symptoms na parang atypical pagdating sa puso? Kasi it's not, di ba? Opo. So, kanina napag-usapan natin to. I think we need to mention that sa ating mga viewers.
Kasi yung heart attack, i-link lang natin sa hypertension. Yung heart attack, we're talking about several risk factors. Isa lang ang hypertension. Okay? Unlike stroke, which is actually absent, it's the blood pressure. Sa heart attack kasi, may mga simptomas or classic symptoms. Chest pain, chest heaviness, di ba? Parang pag napapagod, pag naglalakad ka, sumasakit ang dibdib. And when you try to rest, nawawala, nare-relieve. No? Sometimes lumilipat, parang nagre-radiate sa left arm. Parang sabi nila, parang nangangalay. Things like that. So those are the classic symptoms. May mga non-classic or atypical symptoms of heart attack that you might want to learn. Like, minsan nga yung sumasakit ang sikmura, akala mo gastritis or heartburns. And in fact, meron na pala siya, nag-uumpisa na pala yung injury or yung heart attack. Meron din yung back pain, no? Yung sa gitna, sa gitna ng likod natin, no? Bakit parang sumasakit siya, no? Lalo na lumalabas siya pag may mga ginagawa or effort-related. Meron din yung toothache sa lower set of teeth, no? Meron gano'n.
O kaya toothache, Doc?
Oo, toothache. Parang masakit ang ngipin mo, di ba? Pero alam mo, wala ka namang damaged tooth or teeth. So, very discreet. O kaya yung parang sinasakal or choking sensation. So, those are atypical that we don't usually see sa mga impending heart attack. Pero nakikita natin siya.
Right. So, again, it's very prudent. A reminder again para sa mga viewers natin na kaya importante talaga to consult with your doctor if you feel any of these symptoms. Now, Doc, balik tayo sa hypertension. No? We have a question here from Elaine Bendijo. No? Is it safe to exercise, Doc, if you have hypertension? And are there exercises to avoid if you're actually hypertensive?
Elaine, yung hypertension kasi is the disease, is the sickness, no?
Yes.
What we're after is the blood pressure. Yung hypertension, hindi mawawala yan. But we can control your blood pressure. If you're hypertensive, pero control naman blood pressure mo, go ahead and do exercise. Because exercise itself can bring down your blood pressure. It's
Nice.
a well-studied protocol that you can do exercise. Now, yung follow-up question niya, yung what kind of exercise if you're
Yes
hypertensive.
po, Doc. Opo.
Again, ang caveat doon, make sure your blood pressure is adequately controlled. No? Of course, doing exercise with BP of 180 over 100, definitely it can shoot up your blood pressure. Masyado na narrow yung safety of margin natin. But if your blood pressure is, say, 130 or 120, o sabihin mo nang hindi pa siya controlled 140, yes, medyo mataas pa yung safety of margin natin. So, ang recommended kasi, even the Philippine Heart Association and American Heart Association, is to do moderate intensity exercise of about 150 minutes a week.
A week, Doc, no?
If you're going to divide that 150 minutes a week, say by 30 minutes, that's about 5 days.
Yes, that's right.
Pag sinabi mo naman moderate intensity, all you have to do is brisk walking. Kung gusto mo mag-light jogging, go ahead. Okay? But of course, kung may problem tayo sa legs, that's a different story.
Yeah,
Ang requirement lang natin, you have to walk at your own pacing. Ayaw na, as much as we want to put you on an exercise level and makes your blood pressure quite good, pero kung it will compromise your legs and knees, ayaw din natin yan. Okay? So,
ayun, key takeaway here is make sure that your blood pressure is maintained, no? Pero 30 minutes, Doc, a day, no? That matters. So, 150 minutes in a week. Okay. Nako, Doc, ito ha.
If I may share, because you mentioned about the Sneakers Friday. The idea of Sneakers Friday is to walk and to achieve at least 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. That's counting, including what you're doing in your office. Because most of us, no, yung mga nasa clinics, offices, walang time. Yung 30 minutes na yun, masyadong matagal for them to lose, di ba? So we're counting that, yung steps na ginagawa mo, 24 hours. Pag na-achieve mo yung 8,000 to 10,000, that's equivalent to 30 minutes of moderate brisk walking. That's equivalent to that kind of exercise. So
moving around the table, di ba, Doc, that matters, taking the stairs. Kung one floor up lang naman, di ba, we encourage it dito sa...
Iba pa yun, when you're using stairs, you can even burn more calories pag maglalakad ka sa stairs. Okay pa siya kumpara sa flat ground.
Oo nga. So, it's very important yung physical activity. Sige, Doc, mamaya, after ng podcast ito, magsi-stairs na ako. So, Doc, ito ha, may tanong dito. Is there a relationship between stress talaga and hypertension? Are they related or parang contributory yung stress sa pagiging high blood?
It's a risk factor, Dr. Aguilla, yung stress. Because as I've said, you have the genes for hypertension. Ang gusto lang ng genes is to look for the right opportunity para mag-manifest siya. So stress is being considered as the culprit. Kaya part of the approach is to do lifestyle management. Yung stress kasi, iba kasi yung activity na you might think stressful, but if you love it and enjoying doing that might not be a stress, di ba? Meron ganun eh.
Yes,
so stress kasi there's a direct relationship with the high stress level with high blood pressure. That's why you have to, there's such a thing as stress management, di ba? That's why we're encouraging that. Para hindi ka magka-hypertension, di ba?
Di ba, Doc, dito sa cardiac rehab natin, we have stress management as part of it, di ba? Kasi we realize that yung daily activities natin can actually contribute. So, importante talaga to have that work-life balance. So, dito tayo sa fact that high stress level may cause high blood pressure. Now, Doc, may question dito si Melanie Moreno. Hi, Melanie. Thanks for watching. I think this is related to diet, no? Hi po. Which is best to use po for a person with hypertension? She's talking about olive oil or coconut oil. I think napag-usapan kasi natin, Doc, yung DASH diet. So may recommended oil ba dapat na ginagamit?
Yung oil kasi, it's for on the cholesterol buildup.
Right.
There's no direct relationship with blood pressure. But relating it with the risk factors like high cholesterol, I would prefer olive oil, of course. Okay, but that should control your cholesterol. But there's no direct line between oil and the hypertension or the blood pressure.
Okay, so thank you. And Hi to Vivian Ravelo Azansano for watching. Doc, ito, meron din ako nababasa na is high blood pressure, does it have something to do with yung race? Kasi merong mga studies that, is there some fact into that?
Yes, that's true. That also boils down to the idea na it's genetics. No?
Yeah.
And sa US kasi, they have studies on
Doc, meron.
America. And resistant hypertension was actually relatively high among Black Americans. Yes, that's true. There's a racial thing behind hypertension. It's genetics. That supports the idea that hypertension is genetics.
Right.
And difficult to control pa, no? Ilan sa mga Black Americans, difficult to control.
That's true. So, to answer that myth, it's true, no? May racial, well, we don't want to be, pero merong component doon sa pag-treat. Okay. Another myth that we want to bust sana, Doc, is this, no? Kasi medyo nag-search ako sa Google, mga lumalabas na mga myth. If I'm on blood pressure medication, I don't have to exercise or watch what I eat. True or false?
Of course, false. False, Gia.
So
Because
that's
diet can help controlling the blood pressure. Meaning, say that can even help to reduce the dose of your medicine for blood pressure. Things like that. Yung diet. Ngayon, idagdag mo pa yung exercise kasi pinag-aralan din yan. It can, as I've said, it can bring down your blood pressure. Kahit sabi mong 5 millimeter mercury, that's already significant. And having healthy diet and exercise on your side, that will make the dose of your blood pressure medicine to become lower, something like that.
So yun, no? So importante yan, no? It doesn't mean na naka-maintenance ka, hindi mo na ipa-follow yung iba. Again, it's really, it's a group effort, ika nga. So Doc, one last myth. There's nothing I can do to prevent high blood pressure if it runs in my family. True or false?
That's false. It's preventable, but it's not you cannot avoid having it, but it's preventable. Now, since you asked that question, if I may define yung mga risk factors na tinatawag, there's such a thing as modifiable risk factors, and there's
that's right.
non-modifiable. Pag sinabi mo non-modifiable, there's nothing we can do about it.
No,
we are aware, making us aware.
Doc is discussing yung mga modifiable factors and unmodifiable risk factors, no?
Correct.
So, medyo nawala lang yung stream. Yung mga modifiable is something that we can do about.
Yes.
Doc, di ba? O sige, go ahead, Doc. Nawala ka.
Like for instance, hypertension, di ba? You can take the necessary measures to prevent the onset of hypertension. Yun nga sinasabi natin, no? Diabetes, smoking, obesity, overweight. No? Physical inactivity, you can do exercise. No? Those are modifiable. Yung non-modifiable kasi wala tayong magawa, di ba? Pero ang gagawin natin, since we're aware na merong family history ng hypertension, on our mind, gagawa ako ng measures to prevent the onset of hypertension. Being a male is a risk factor. Okay?
How do you, Doc?
In gender, di ba? Gender. Mas maraming hypertensive na lalaki or even heart disease, di ba? Okay. Pero pag ang babae kasi, na-reach nila yung menopausal stage, either surgically or natural way, mahabol na sila sa incidence of heart disease. No? Ganun din right. Yung family history, di ba? Something like that.
So it's really very important to visit, and we just want to highlight yung importance of visiting your cardiologist and of course, monitoring yung high blood pressure natin. Nako, Doc, thank you so much. We learned so much in that 1 hour. And for everyone watching, you can always watch this episode and our past episodes sa ating official Facebook page, Makati Medical Center. Remember guys, hypertension is one serious condition that everybody cannot take for granted. Kahit anong age ka pa, it's always important to take care of ourselves. Now to end this show, Doc, what is your expert advice para sa ating lahat on how we can take care of our heart, but still enjoy everything that life has to offer? Syempre, we don't want to cause panic naman or paranoia to the effect na lahat na lang binabantayan or sinusukat, but how should we keep that balance? Ika nga.
First of all, again, thank you, Dr. Aguia, for having me. It's always a pleasure. Now, going to your question, of course, eating healthy is always, it might be challenge to some, but of course, there's always a better picture out of it. No? When you say healthy diet, you try to cut down the salt intake. Okay. Since there was a question earlier about the stress, so apparently nowadays stress is still there. But the thing we can do is try to recognize it and do something like you modify things, no? And while on that particular situation, let's say if you're working in the office, there's walking around, no, moving around, say every 30 or every 60 minutes, just to keep your circulation ongoing and don't stay in sitting, no, things like that. At least you can burn whatever you ate for that particular time, no. And if you're hypertensive, no, please do take your medicines religiously. Do not stop. Something that you have to take siguro as early as now, something perpetual, no. We might have to decrease the dose, but mind you, you're hypertensive, and there's always a chance for you to develop problems later on if you stop taking the medicines.
That's true. So once again, Doc, thank you so much. Hopefully this is not the last that we can have you on our podcast. We'd like to appreciate all that you do, and please keep safe.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Doc. Thanks. So guys, speaking of heart health, avoid having to worry about your health. So if you are experiencing any symptoms, please visit our heart station or call 888-888-999, locals 3320 or 3322. This has been Doc Gia Season telling everyone na palaging ingatan ang ating mga puso in any aspect. Kumain ng wasto, lumayo sa masamang bisyo, and always spread love and kindness. So always stay safe, guys. Bye-bye. See you on our next podcast.